Hello, watching Vnews Bulletin. From another headlines as usual.
Cold water fish breeder in Thanh Hóa earning substantial profits. Lantern Crab Village in Nam Định busy ahead of Mid-Autumn Festival.
Now let's take a look at the most prominent events of the week from August 15 to 21st. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, paid a two-day official visit to Vietnam from August 14 to 15. During his visit, the Qatari official was welcomed by Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, and he held talks with host Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn. Prime Minister Chính congratulated Qatar on signing the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation with ASEAN, affirming that Vietnam always supports cooperation between Qatar and the grouping. Government leaders said relevant Vietnamese agencies are ready to create all favorable conditions for Qatar businesses to seek investment opportunities in Vietnam. The official of Qatar said his country always attaches great importance to developing relations with Vietnam, considering Vietnam to be a gateway to the ASEAN market. The two countries have great potential for further cooperation in many fields, especially in trade, investment, energy and tourism, he added. At their talks, Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn and Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, expressed delight at the positive developments in all aspects in the friendship and cooperation between Vietnam and Qatar. They agreed to further strengthen trade and investment promotion activities, creating favorable conditions for export staples to enter each country's market.
Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Kazakhstan, Mukhtar Tilewadi, led a delegation of finance investment businesses to visit Vietnam on August 17-18. The visit, which took place on the occasion of the two countries' 30th anniversary of diplomatic ties, 1992-2022, aims to increase cooperation in all fields, especially finance, trade and investment. The delegation was welcomed by President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc, who affirmed that Vietnam always attaches importance to the good traditional friendships with Kazakhstan. The leader said there is still an ample space for the two countries to develop economic ties and suggested the two sides promote cooperation in fields which are their strengths. Deputy Prime Minister Mukhtar Tilewadi told the host leader that Vietnam is an important partner of Kazakhstan in the Asia-Pacific region. At the talks with host Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn, the two sides agreed to soon organize a session of an intergovernmental committee of the two countries and study the possibility of establishing joint ventures in textile and food processing sectors. They said agriculture, tourism and clean energy are the fields the two sides will have a lot of space for further cooperation. The two sides also welcomed the plan to establish direct flights between the two countries. The two diplomats also exchanged views on a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern and agreed to strengthen coordination at regional and international organizations and forums.
The 2022 Army Games is taking place in Russia and several countries such as Uzbekistan, Armenia and Belarus from August 13 to 27. The Games gather 270 teams from 37 countries worldwide, including Vietnam. This year, Vietnam hosts the Games competitions in the category of emergency area. Competing in the qualifying round of Group 1 of the Tank Biathlon event in Moscow on August 16 local time, crew number 2 of the Vietnamese tank team shot down 4 out of the 5 targets. Meanwhile, crew number 1 also destroyed 4 out of the 5 targets on August 13th and finished the race in 34 minutes 53 seconds. Teams in Group 1 will compete in the qualifying round to select the top 8 to enter the semi-finals. Group 2 teams will compete in a round-robin format to progress. And crew number 3 of Vietnam's 4-crew tank team will compete on August 20th. The Department of Health of Ho Chi Minh City has recently requested its medical facilities to get plans ready for the acceptance and treatment of COVID-19 patients in the context of increases in the number of new cases.
The department assigned the Hospital for Tropical Diseases to be responsible for preparing human resources to reactivate the COVID-19 treatment hospital for severe cases when required. In addition, it requested all hospitals, health centers, and medical facilities in the city to actively review their resources to be ready to respond when the COVID-19 pandemic worsens. The health department also stressed the need to step up communication work to raise awareness about the importance of vaccination and continues giving help to and managing COVID-19 patients at home.
As the energy industry has a crucial role in achieving net zero emissions by 2050, it requires a structural transition toward green growth. Therefore, Vietnam needs assistance from developed countries regarding both financial and technical issues.
According to the Ministry of Planning and Investment, resources are the biggest problem in realizing the goals of the energy transition and moving towards the net zero emissions targets by 2050. Under the World Bank's calculation, to achieve net zero emissions, Vietnam needs an additional $368 billion during 2022-2040, approximately 6.8% of GDP each year, of which the building resilience process alone will account for about two-thirds of this amount because a significant amount of capital needs to be mobilized to protect assets and infrastructure as well as vulnerable populations. The cost of the decarbonization roadmap is mainly derived from the energy sector, including the expense of investing in renewable energy and managing the transitions away from coal, which would cost about $64 billion during the 2022-2040 period. Vietnam has set out 4 goals under its National Green Growth Strategy, which are to reduce greenhouse gas emissions per GDP, to green economic sectors, to green lifestyles and promote sustainable consumption, and to green the transitions on the principles of equality, inclusion, and resilience.
Ha Khak Sam is the proud owner of a 300 square meters sturgeon and salmon farm in Thanh Hoa province. He sells an average of 8 or 9 tons of fish each year, earning around 3 billion dong and generating jobs for many local people. Ha Khak Sam said that on average each year, he sells about 8 to 9 tons of fish with a selling price of 400,000 dong per kilo for salmon and 250,000 dong for sturgeon. After costs are deducted, he takes home 500 to 600 million dong, about $21,000 to $25,000 a year. His fish farm has also created jobs for 7 local people on monthly salaries of 6 to 7 million dong.
The most important factor in raising cold water fish is the water source. The colder the water is, the fewer diseases the fish are exposed to.
The location of the farm has a temperate climate, which is favorable for fish farming. Sam plans to expand his farm and find new markets in Hanoi, Hai Phong City, and Bắc Ninh province. He has also developed the fish-raising farm in Nang Kat village, Chi Nang Commune, which is a popular destination in Thanh Hoa, into a tourism site.
Sam's cold water fish farm is a typical economic model of our commune. Local authorities are offering encouragement and stand ready to support households in expanding the farming model.
Sam's economic model has helped generate jobs for local people. It also associated with tourism development at the local Ma Hao and Bai Teng waterfalls. The Mid-Autumn Festival is now just a month away. Villagers in the Bao Dap Lantern Craft Village in Hong Quang Commune, Nam Chik District, in the northern province of Nam Dinh, are busy making their lanterns. The price of lanterns this year is doubled what it was in previous years, which makes the villagers feel quite excited. With nearly 50 years of experience in making lanterns, Nguyễn Thị Bình Thu is especially excited about this year's festival. After many lean years, the traditional craft has become popular once again. All lanterns are sold almost as soon as they are made. Some businesses offered to pay in advance, but the villagers are too busy to fulfill their orders.
Compared to previous years, this year prices are higher, nearly double, because of COVID-19. That helps us have more incomes.
The handmade lanterns from Bao Dav Craft Village are made from simple materials like bamboo, glass paper, and the trunks of jute trees. In the first lunar month of every year, local villagers start preparing the materials needed to make lanterns. The craft has existed for a long time, but earnings in recent years have been poor, and few households have persisted with it.
I will never give up the craft because it was passed down by my grandparents and parents. I will stay attached to the traditional craft.
Mid-autumn lanterns were once a source of joy for Vietnamese children. The traditional cultural feature then began to fade away as society developed. Today, however, it has become popular again, which motivates the lantern makers to continue preserving and developing the traditional craft and boost the incomes of rural workers. The land border between Vietnam and China is some 1,450 kilometers in length, with a starting point in Dien Bien province and an end point in Quang Ninh province. The borderline with 1,971 milestones is established on the basis of the Land Borders Treaty signed on December 30, 1999 between two countries.
The two sides have established border management mechanisms, in particular the Joint Committee for the Vietnam-China land border, to deal with any issues relating to the land border. Functional forces from both sides have effectively coordinated in the management and protection of borders and landmarks on the basis of 3 legal documents and related agreements. The two have maintained regular border patrols and supervision, both unilaterally and bilaterally, organized bilateral activities to clear the border line, to help residents and border management forces, identified the border line, deployed the construction of border works, and maintained the stability and clarity of the border line and national landmark. There are currently 22 border gates along the Vietnam-China border. In addition to those recorded in the border gate agreement, there are 62 cross-border points between the two sides, operating under many different forms, such as sub-border gates, border openings, temporary crossing roads, pairs of border markets, and specialized roads for goods transport. To meet the growing demand for trade on the Vietnam-China border, border authorities and Vietnamese localities bordering China have implemented a number of traffic connection projects and developed the Vietnam-China border gate system in accordance with the National Master Plan and the border gate planning of neighboring countries. During COVID-19 pandemic, ministries, branches, and localities on both sides actively exchanged information, effectively coordinated in pandemic prevention and control efforts, and deployed a range of solutions to ensure smooth trade continues in border areas. Vietnam and China will continue to strictly implement legal documents on the border and actively promote the opening and upgrading the border gates to meet trade needs between the two countries. At the same time, cooperation and exchanges will continue to be strengthened in many fields in the border area, contributing to building a border that is truly a borderline of peace, stability, cooperation, and development, offering practical benefits to the people of both countries and consolidating the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between Vietnam and China.
And that's wrap up our news bulletin. Thanks for watching. See you next time.